What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I have a comment here that I want to show you, and this is going to lead into our discussion today. So here's the comment. All they do is talk. Stop paying them. That's Jeff. Thank you, Jeff, for the comment. Now, he's talking about Congress. And today we're going to talk about Congress and their pay and the wasteful spending of Congress. That's what we're going to focus on today, because this is something we really need to start talking about. Because you have people that want another round of stimulus checks. You have people who want this human infrastructure, this $3.5 trillion bill to pass. And Congress, you have some Congress people that are pushing back and saying we spend too much money and this is ridiculous. And we need to start looking at their pay, and we need to start looking at their staffers' pay, and we need to focus on how government spends money. Because when we start looking at this, we'll start to realize, okay, it's okay for them to spend money on themselves, or them to spend money on their staffers, or them to spend money on their offices. But when it comes to the American people, the people who are paying the taxes that pay for their salary and that pay for their staffer's salary and that pay for their office, we don't get anything. We get the crumbs. And so that's what I want to focus on today. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please hit the like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. And like always, if you see my name and my picture in the comment section, make sure you also see a check mark next to my name. That check mark signifies that it's me. If you do not see the check mark, it's not me. It's someone trying to impersonate me. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is go over to the Washington Post. They posted this a few days ago, and it says Pelosi raises salary cap for top House staffers in long-sought move to boost recruitment and retention. So what Speaker Pelosi did is she is raising that cap on staffers. Okay, so this is no, we're not talking about lawmakers right now. We're talking about the staffers, and so she's raising that to 100 and let's go back here. It's so it's 199,300. So that is the rate, 199,000. Could you imagine making 199,000 if you're not making that right now? That's a lot of money. And that's for staffers. That's actually more than Congress people make. Congress people are around the neighborhood of 174,000. We're going to take a look at the list of over the years how much Congress people make. But 199,300. So that's what the cap has been raised to. And what's interesting about this is, first of all, you're paying employees 199,000. And we're not talking about all lawmakers, but you do have some lawmakers that they have a problem with the $15 an hour minimum wage, but they're okay with paying their staffers $200,000. And so that should tell you something right there. And you might be saying, well, that's Speaker Pelosi. She's the one that raised the cap. How many politicians have you heard come out and say that they don't want this, or they're not going to pay their staffers $199,000? That's just too much. You haven't heard any politicians come out and say that. Why? Because they anticipate paying their staffers that much money. And the whole argument here is we get better employees if we pay them more. And that's the argument for $15 an hour minimum wage. You get better employees if you pay them more. And that's one of the reasons why you have a lot of people right now that don't want to go back to work, or they're looking for a different career path because of this lack of pay, this low pay. You start paying people more, they're going to go back to work. So getting back to Congress, yes, 199,000. That is the cap for their top staffers. Crazy, crazy. Now, I want to do something here. I want to take a look at the pay for senators. Okay, now senators and representatives, they get paid about the same, but I found this list and this is their website. This is the United States Senate website. And what I find interesting here, and one thing that I want to talk about, is we need to change the way we pay our lawmakers, because the way we pay our lawmakers is not the way it should be. And I'll explain to you what I'm talking about here. But if you go way back to 1789 to 1815, they were paid $6 per diem per day, $6 per day. And as we move into the years, move on down, we're looking at, let's just say 2000 here, $141,300 per year. Okay. And now we move into 2021, $174,000 per year. Okay. And they've been receiving this same salary, $174,000 since 2009. Okay. So that's what we're looking at right now. Now, my argument, the first argument that I have is they should be getting paid the national average. Okay. And they should be paid the national hourly average, not the national salary, which is a little bit more than the hourly average. So the hourly average is $30 an hour, around $30 an hour, which equates to about $65,000 a year. That's what they should be getting paid. And there should be an incentive for them to, in order to make more, guess what? Raise that national average up. When we're talking about an hourly wage, $15 an hour minimum wage, if you're paying them an hourly wage, guess what? Now they're invested. Okay, we need to raise that hourly wage up because that will help us as well. It would increase that $30 an hour wage that they're receiving to maybe a $40 an hour wage if they raise the bottom half up. And so that's what I think we should be doing. Not only that, but just going back to this chart, they used to pay them per day. Why are we not doing that again? We should be paying politicians every day they're in Washington, and that's it. You want to go on recess a week out of the month? That's fine. Go on recess, go back home to your home districts, but you're not getting paid. You're only getting paid when you're in Washington, because when you're in Washington, that's when you're supposed to be there doing work. So that's when you get paid. That's what we should be doing. So they can take as much recess as they want, but when they go back to their home districts, they're not getting paid for that. Or we could maybe have like a bank, like a vacation pay, where, yeah, you have 20 days that you can go back per year, and you can use that 20 days of time, and you can get paid for that. But everything outside of that, you're not getting any pay for that. And so that's what I think we should be doing to save money. Because when it comes down to it, you have a lot of these lawmakers out there saying, we need to save money. We need to pay down the debt. I agree. We need to pay down the debt, and we need to start with salaries. We need to start with the money that these lawmakers are making, because these lawmakers are making well over the national average, and they're taking a recess, at least one recess every month. And in some months, like this month, the vast majority of the month, they're going to be off. That is a problem. That is a huge problem. And a lot of these politicians don't feel the need to do anything. So even when they're working, even when they're in D.C., they don't feel the need to do anything. Mitch McConnell said that he doesn't want to cooperate with President Biden. He doesn't want President Biden to get anything done. So you have the president wanting to get some stuff done, and then you have the other side saying, no, I don't want to do anything. The minority leader saying, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to move forward with anything when it comes to President Biden's agenda. So when you hear that, and when you see that, it's ridiculous that we're paying them. It really is. You would not accept that if you were an owner of a business and you had two employees, and one employee wanted to get some stuff done, and the other employee said, no, I don't want to do anything that's on that person's agenda. Okay, you don't want a job. You don't want to work. Why should I pay you? And so looking at this whole situation, the biggest motivator is money. And we need to start pulling back some of this money. It's ridiculous. They shouldn't be making $174,000 a year. They should be making more in the neighborhood of about $65,000 to $70,000 a year. That's still good for a lot of people. But if you put it at that national average, guess what? You're going to start seeing some improvements when it comes to low wage earners. I guarantee you that will happen because they're invested. They want to make sure, hey, we want to make more money, so let's help that bottom half. And so I wanted to discuss that today because I think it's really, really important for us to start looking at these numbers and then realize, look, Congress people, years ago, they were paid per day. We should get back to paying them per day. Don't pay them a salary and say, okay, you can go on recess whenever you want and come back. No, if they're in DC, we know that they're supposed to be doing the people's work. Pay them. If they're in their home districts, that's a part of their pledge. A part of their pledge is they want to listen to their home district. That's fine. Guess what? Do it on your own dime. We shouldn't be paying for you to be home in your district, not doing the people's business, not voting for anything. You're just doing research. That's fine. Do your own research. And when you come back to Washington, then you can start getting paid again. Another thing I want to talk about is raises. So we've been hearing about the $200 raise for Social Security. We've been hearing about COLA raises. We've been hearing about a lot of different things. Well, guess what? Congress gets a raise every year. Every year they get a COLA raise. Now, the only way that they won't get that raise is if they vote it down. And so right now you have HR 75, and they need to vote this down in order for them not to get a raise. The raise is automatic. And so we're going to have to watch to see if Congress votes this down. They voted it down last year. We're going to have to see if they vote it down again. Because this is one of those things where we need to really watch what our Congress people are doing. And we're all struggling right now. Everyone. We've all had an effect from last year. And let's see what the politicians do this year. Let's see if in good faith they vote down their raise. HR 75, we're going to follow it and see where that goes. If you guys have any questions, post it down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.